Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my honor and privilege to read the opening remarks from His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, SAN, GCON, on the theme, collaborative effort for stimulating investment and inclusive growth. I read. The scale of development needs in Nigeria generally is and will continue to be enormous, driven by a gaping infrastructure deficit and population growth. For the Niger Delta, decades of holding a rich resource base of hydrocarbon have not really fueled any real or consistent development or growth in human and infrastructure capital of its people. For the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, the point is not to dwell on the recurrent narrative of a lack of economic opportunities for our young in Niger Delta, the vast levels of environmental degradation, the existence of decaying, obsolete, or non-existent infrastructure, and the lack of socio-economic justice. The point for us now is to fix it. To fix it, we must fix what is the biggest people issue for most citizens from the Niger Delta and the other parts of Nigeria. Years of exclusion from a decent living has degraded not only the sense of dignity of majority, it has eroded hope for many more others. It is our job to restore this hope and include the vast majority of our citizens in an existence that caters not only for their basic needs, but also provides productive engagement. One thing is evident and plain to us in this administration. Reducing Nigeria's widespread poverty is the most sensible and compelling narrative for national renewal. Insecurity in all parts of the nation, be it here in the Niger Delta region or in the Northeast, and indeed any other part of Nigeria, has its root in an impoverished populace whose personal insecurities have found violent expression in anarchic agitation. The exclusion of the vast majority of Nigerians from a prosperous existence demands urgent intervention. For us, intervention in the deplorable socioeconomic conditions prompted by poverty is not just a desirable policy. It is an absolute necessity. This is why we've set for ourselves a most lofty goal. We will not measure how well we perform just by the general macroeconomic indicators, such as the gross domestic product. We will measure ourselves by how many millions of our citizens we are able to bring out of poverty. For our youth, the administration has an ambitious job creation plan. Collaborating with the private sector, we will impart the skills set that are required to create new jobs in agriculture, retail, outsourcing, IT, and other areas. A critical aspect of a policy is to stimulate the minds and hands of our young people in clusters, hubs, and parks. One important way our government will propel inclusive growth is through the growth of SMEs. Our main policy thrust is to ensure that Nigeria's financial infrastructure enables SMEs to access the financing they need for business startup and expansion. For infrastructure, the government is setting up a $25 billion infrastructure fund to invest in the transport and energy sectors. We will focus on young children to ensure their daily nutrition is assured just as they attend school. We will undertake a conditional cash transfer to the most vulnerable and poorest in our midst on the condition they enroll their children in school while also immunizing them. In essence, our goal is for millions of our people to come out of poverty, particularly within the Niger Delta region. Our policy framework, as will be underscored by our 2016 budgetary proposals, aim at promoting investment and innovation by businesses to drive the transition towards an economically inclusive growth path for Nigeria. While it is the private sector investment that drive the majority of economic activities, that will ultimately determine outcomes. Our policy has a crucial role to play in creating the right incentives and enabling environment to facilitate an appropriate business response. We are also responsive to the urgent needs of many of our citizens, too poor to envision a better tomorrow. For this, we will intervene to bring succor and hope. This is the time for all specters of public, political, communal, and private sector leadership to show a sincere desire and uncanny ability to design and protect the integrity of the developmental process in the Niger Delta region. All the actors within the government, within the federal government, the Minister of Niger Delta, and our own Niger Delta Development Commission are all geared to ensure that inclusive policies of President Muhammadu Buhari are given expression in implementation. Today's investment will play a critical role in determining future resource intensity and affect the Niger Delta's ability to decouple resource consumption from economic growth. Government's main role is to create an enabling environment for the private sector to lead many areas of the developmental challenges that we currently face. The state and all other actors here are enjoined to think solutions that are scalable and will touch millions of our citizens. For the private sector, I would like to mention that although the basic purpose of a business remains the creation of wealth, social conscience must be seen as compatible and complementary to it. For our state actors and businesses, our approach to cooperation can be modeled on three principles: creativity, scalability, and responsiveness. Although business can be creative and innovative, the responsibility imperative to the respondent is that business creativity needs to also be directed to solving Nigeria's social problems. For instance, there are many tablets or phones today that are highly creative, but do little to tackle our most pressing societal needs. By contrast, the Open Imo Creativity Package more than 50 textbooks for use by senior secondary school students in the whole of Osun State. In a similar vein, a telecom operator introduced innovation in Kenya that allows money to be transferred by text, thereby empowered a nation in which 80% of the population have no bank account, and where more money flows in the country through international remittance than foreign aid. Or think about free play energy that produces a variety of consumer devices, including flashlights, lanterns, mobile phones, chargers, and food-powered generators. The company focuses on creating and developing self-sufficient energy products that give millions of people access to products and services in areas that are off the electricity grid. This is a project that reaches scale. How can our actors and Nigerian businesses start thinking about cheap and sustainable ways of providing stable energy options to poor homes and small businesses in a country that desperately needs many options for power? Let me recapture that, it's very important. How can our state actors and Nigerian businesses start thinking about cheap and sustainable ways of providing stable energy options to poor homes and small businesses in a country that desperately needs many options for power? How can we creatively clean up the environment in the Niger Delta? How can we create better agricultural and retail value? These are the questions that I leave you all to answer. While in the immediate future, we may still rely on extracting what is a finite resource, but we must really look within us to find the answer to the infinite questions of value and respect for our fellow citizens, regardless of social background, ethnicity, and creed. This call for sincerity, valor, and patriotism. On that note, it is indeed my honor and privilege, on behalf of His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to declare this forum open. Thank you very much, and God bless you.